Okay, thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. And in this course of our learning, we should have the base of Mikdash immediately. And it should be a refuah shleima for Yechiel Nasan ben Sarah, Aaron David Halevi ben Mincha Lester. We start today, Tanu Rabbanan and Yud Tes Samid Beis. It's 10 lines from the bottom about Tanu Rabbanan. Start in a brisa. Pamachas, there was one time, Olu Kol Yisrael L'Regel Yerushalayim. Yeah, the Rabbeinu Chananel says that it was Chag, L'Chag. They came up to Yerushalayim for the holiday. Maybe it was Sukkot, like Rabbeinu Chananel says. That's what it sounds like. But there was no water. That's a problem. So Halach Nakdiman ben Gurion Eitzaladin Echad. Nakdiman ben Gurion, Rashi tells us, was a very wealthy man. He goes to one minister, one other, person of means. Amalai halveni shtei mesri mayanis mayim leila regalim. V'niyetlach shtei mesri enes mayim. Etlach shtei mesri. V'meini noisen lach harein noisen lach shtei mesri kikar keser. Give me 12 springs of water, and I'll repay you 12 springs of water. Yeah, usually you imagine that a spring, the water is going to replenish on its own. The spring, the water comes from underground. Apparently, Rashi points this out, that this was not a very strong spring, and it didn't really have enough water. So he has to actually replenish the water. But he wants the water for the Eiler Regalim. If I don't pay back, I'll give you 12 talents of silver. Kabbalesman. So they designated a time. Kimin Shegiasman V'layar the Geshamim. The day came, and the rain didn't come. So b'shachris, in the morning, Shalach Lai Shagar Li Aymayis Yesh Li Be'atcha. This person tells him, give me the water or the money. Time's up. So Shalach Lai Adayin Yesh Li Zman. I still have time. Kolayim Kula Shalihu. The whole day is mine. Yeah, this becomes very frustrating when you have a worker or something that does it like this. You say, how come you're not getting everything done? You told me that the deadline is next week. Don't worry about it. Okay. So he says, I still have time. But in the afternoon, he sends him. Okay, give me the water or the money. So I still have time. Day's not over. The mincha shalach lay. It's towards evening. Okay, time's just about up. Shalach lay says no, I still have time. So liglag of Allah v'isa adan. This other person laughed at him. Says, what are the odds that it's going to rain right now? It didn't rain the whole year, and now you're going to get all the rain that you need, just like right now, in between now and sunset. So they add in the word over here, ba'oid. While this wealthy person is going into the bathhouse, b'simcha, that he's about to become even wealthier, is going to get the money. Yeah, maybe they're taking out words. That's what they're doing. No, it's miyad nichnas lebeis merchatz b'simcha, and u'ba'oid sha'adar nichnas b'simchas lebeis merchatz. It's a little repetitive. Nakdim nichnas lebeis mikdash. Nakdim goes into the temple. Kshu atzev, he's sad. Nesatif, he puts on a talis. V'amad b'tfila, and he starts to daven. Amal Afanav, he says, Rabbeinu Shalom, Master of the world, Golav Yadu Lefanecha, it's known before you. I didn't do it for myself. I didn't do it for my family. I did this for your honor, that the people that come to the temple should have water. Immediately the clouds formed, and it started to rain till it filled up the springs, and there was even extra. Yeah, Daniel, like that the thing you sent me, it's not his job, right? But it's not his department. Anyway, it filled up. So look at what happens now. He's coming out of the bathhouse, and Nakdim ben Gurion comes out of the Beis Hamikdash. They meet each other. Nakdim tells him, okay, now you owe me money, because it rained a little bit extra, and it filled up more than what I took from you. So you have to give me the remaining. I know that Hashem didn't tumult the world, it was just because of you. So I know that that Hashem did this just for you, but nevertheless, you still owe me money. I still have a claim. I can still get my money. The time had already, the sun had already set, the time was up. The rain fell into my wells. It wasn't your wells then. It's not that you gave me back too much. It was already mine, because the sun had set and your time was up. He goes back inside Nesatif, wraps himself up in a talis. Show everyone that you have beloved in this world. Show everyone that you love the Jewish people. We didn't say that he wasn't Jewish, this person, but it sounds like it. Miyad nispazru avim, the clouds separated. V'zar chacham, and the sun shone. Yeah. But Isasha, v'zar chacham, but Isasha, no, v'zar chacham. But Isasha, Amalayad, and at that time, this person told him, Ilulay nikter chama, hayli piskan pe'alacha, sheitzim chamaisai. If the sun didn't shine, then I would have had a claim that I could to take the money. Okay, Tana. It's taught in a brisa. Leinak dimen shmai. Leinak dimen shmai. His name wasn't really Nakdiman. Elabuni shmai. All right. His name was Buni. Laminikar shmai Nakdiman. We had a Bani. Right. That was a student of Rabbi Yechon, and that's much later. Right. Bali. We had Bali. His name is Buni. Why is he called Nakdiman? Shenikter Chama Bavuri, because the sun shone just for him. So they changed the name to Nakdiman. Tanura Banan. Well, Nikter actually means to like break through, to pierce through. Yeah. Shminakiv Harakia. Check the air conditioning. Let's push the temperature down. Okay. Yeah. Zarcha, Rashi says. Lashon makdir, shesachem kideres bertiv zerachas. I don't speak French. Pierce. Probably Pierce. Okay. Oh, really? Yeah. So that would come from Niskashu Shemayim Ba'avim, and Niktara is the Niska. How would it switch? A shin and a dalet is interchangeable. So nit kadru would be the same word if it's shin and a dalet, and like anyway, could be right. The decker is a dagger. It's the same English word. Decker. Okay. Oh. Yeah, like there's an expression like kedera, like kishule kedera or something. They have an expression like that also. Okay. Tana. Okay, we did that. Tana Rabbanan. Tana in the Brisa. Shleisha niktama. Is it really niktama? Now we have niktama. Oh, niktama lehem chama bavuran. Guess the sun came early. Shown. Yeah, if it would have said niktara, that would be better.
It says sun broke through.
Broke through. But here it says niktama. I didn't look this up in the in that other text. Okay. Who are the three? Moshe to break through. Right. Moshe, Yeshua, V'Nachdim Ben Gurion. These three. Bishlei Nachdim Ben Gurion Gemara. Okay, Nachdim Ben Gurion, we know where the sun shone. We have a clear Gemara. Yeshua Nami, it's not difficult for us because the Ksiv V'Yidam Hashemesh V'Yareach Amad, that the sun stopped and the moon stood. This is after the battle with all those people that joined together. After I.
Givon.
And Givon, right. Givon made peace with Yeshua, and then Shemesh V'Givon time. So then a whole bunch of armies, Aram, got together, 5 kings, I think, and they were gonna attack. And Givon calls for Yeshua. It's like, this is all your fault. Come help us. So then something happened where it scared they came from behind, and everyone was scared, and they like killed each other. And then the hail fell, and the hail killed more than Yeshua. And then Yeshua stops and he praises Hashem, right? And this is part of the praise. But where did the sun shine from Moshe? Amar Rabbi Elazar Asya Achal Achal. Ksiv Hacha Achal Teispachtecha. Over here it says, I will begin to give your fear on the nations. That's in Devarim somewhere. In Devarim. Ksiv Hasam Achal Gadlecha. It says over there, I will begin to make you great. So by Yeshua, beginning of Yeshua. So we have a Gzeir Shava, a verbal analogy that the same word that's used by Yeshua is used by Moshe. That's coming to tell me that by Moshe, the sun also shone. Reb Shmuel bar Nachmani Amar Asya taste comes from the word give. Ksiv hacha achal taste bachtecha, I will begin to give your fear unto the nations. Ksiv hasam b'yom taste Hashem as Amori. That wasn't Aram, it was Amori, I think. On the day that Hashem gave the Amori to in your hands. So it says taste, which means to give. And that's that same word is used by Moshe. So that's teaching me that by Moshe the sun had shone special for him. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Asim Migufa Dekra. We can learn it from the pasuk. It says itself. It says Asher Yishmun Shemacha V'Ragzu V'Chol Mipanecha, that they'll hear your name, your sound. V'Ragzu, they'll fear V'Chol Mipanecha, and they'll tremble from before you. Eimasai Ragzu V'Chol Mipanecha B'Shash Niktam Leicham LaMoshe. This was when the sun stood for Moshe. Now, where exactly did this happen? I don't know. What is any comment there? When did it happen? Was it by like Sichain, or was it by Amalek, or which battle did it?
It's from Devarim, no?
Yeah, but Devarim just repeats everything that happened earlier. Doesn't tell us. It doesn't say when it was. Okay, just maybe it was a random Thursday. Also a city that didn't have rain, and a city that did have rain in the same area. So We said that's also Masriyan. We also cry out because of that. Masriyan alei miyad, right? So that city cries out, and Rabbi Kiva says that they cry out, they don't fast. What happens around them? They do fast. Okay, so discussion over there. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav Shteim L'Klala. If it rains on one city it doesn't rain, Rav Yehuda says in the name of Rav that that's a curse for both of them. Even the city that got rain, it's a curse, because then everyone comes and takes their food or buys their food. There's really not enough for, actually, what the Gemara actually said before was, when was it a curse? If it rained too much. What it meant was that it rained too much on one, and one it didn't rain, so it really spoiled both foods. That was what the Gemara said. That was the explanation before on Daf Vav. Okay. Haisi Yerushalayim lenida beinayim. It's a pasuk in Eicha. Yerushalayim was like a nida. Nida sounds like it was like expelled. Sorry. What's the? So Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav lebracha. This is really a blessing. What's the pshat? It says kanida, just like a woman that's a nida, a menstruating woman. Manidi yesh leheter. A nida, she goes to the mikveh and then she comes back to the husband. That's not a problem. Af Yerushalayim yesh letakan. Also Yerushalayim is going to come back. It's saying that it's all temporary. That's what the pasuk in Eicha is saying. Haisa kalmana. She's like a widow. Now this is already a different story. A widow sounds like the husband is gone. Rav Yehuda lebracha. Rav Yehuda says this is also a blessing. How's that? Kalmana v'lei almana mamar. It's only like an almana. It's like a woman, her husband traveled across the sea, but he's coming back, so it's all temporary. And also I made you lowly and despised. This is also a blessing. Really? Because the nations don't make you into the tax collectors and into the soldiers. Deputy, a deputy. You see that? See on the side? Gazi deputy. A deputy. Rashi says, Sardiyotin. You're so despised that they don't make you into these official people, which Rav Yehuda is saying is a good thing. Yeah. V'hika Hashem es Yisrael kashiyana dakana b'mayim. Says, I think this was by Achia when he's putting. Is this when he tells? He tells.
Says Ahaya
Yeah, Achia Shilani tells. What's his name that goes to the north? Yeravam. No, Yeravam ben Nevat. Achia was the one that told him to start his own kingdom. Anyway, it says Hashem will hit Israel. Maybe this is when it came back. This is when the son. Is that what you're talking about? The son came back. He came back. He brought him some cookies or something. And Hashem will hit Israel as a reed sways in the water. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Levracha. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Rav, this is a blessing. Dam Rab Shmuel bar Nachmani Amar Rab Yonasan. Rab Shmuel bar Nachmani says in the name of Rab Yonasan. They usually interpret psukim. Says, "My deksiv ne'amanim pitziyayev ne'ataris neshikas saine." What does it mean in the pasuk in Mishlei? It says that the wounds of a friend are trustworthy, and the kisses of an enemy are troublesome. Yeah. So Taiva Klala Shekil Achia Shilaini Shal Yesmi Bracha Sheberchan Bilam Marasha. We'd rather have the curses of Achia Shilaini than the blessings of Bilam Marasha. They say by Rav Avadia.
Close. Keep your friends.
I'm sorry.
Keep your friends close, and then keep your enemies closer.
Oh. They say that Rav Avadi would hit you and you would say hello.
Mhm.
If it would get a good hit, it was like, he's like, he really likes you. So, yeah. So, Achia Shilaini Kilalan Bekana. Achia Shilaini, he cursed them as a reed. Amlam Yisrael, Vika Hashem Yisrael Kashiana Rakana. Hashem will hit the Jewish people as the reed sways. The reed is in the place of water. It changes its the husk, the growth. It grows and it grows. And it has deep roots. By all the winds come. They never move it. It stays where it is. It's a reed on the side of the water. It's amazing. What do they call these? The things that hold the soil in place. You know, what do we have it over here? The mangroves and these other reeds. They keep everything in place. Without it, it would lose the soil. So, and they stay there. It goes with the water. The wind stops and the reed stands still. It's fine. Bilam, bless the Jewish people. They should be like a cedar tree. Shenemar karazim. Then it has over here alimayim. I didn't realize this, but what's going on over there in the Parshas Bilam is that Bilam said one word, and the Malach shouts in something else to make it mean something different. Bilam cursed the Jewish people, but Hashem turned it into a bracha. How do you do that? Everything that he said, the Malach threw in a commentary to switch it. So Bilam says, Karazim, and the Malach shouts in Alimayim. No. Yeah. And then it says Kinachalim, and it says Alinar. The Malach shouted that in because each one could have been termed something negative, and he tries to make it positive. Whatever the case is, Bilam cursed the Jewish people. They should be like cedars. It was supposed to be a blessing. Really, a cedar tree is not near the water. It doesn't get a new trunk, right? You cut it down, that's what it is. The giving tree. What was that book? The giving tree. That's what it is. It's just an old stump, right? It doesn't have the deep roots. Okay, I didn't know that. But all the winds don't move it. But however, but then when the south wind comes, that's a different story. It turns the whole thing over. Not only is the reed so much better because it gets a new trunk. It doesn't have a trunk, but it gets a new growth, and the roots are there, and it just can sway in the water, and it never gets knocked over. But the reed, we use it to make a kolmes. Lichter by Sefer Torah Nevi'im Miksuvim. It's a raya. You should use a reed, not a turkey feather. Yeah. So the turkey was because the Tarnagal Hodu, because it had a mohawk. Okay. So you can write a Sefer Torah with the reed. Tana Rabbanan. Taught in a brayse leilam yeyadam rachka kanaval yikasha keres. Person should always be soft like a reed. Don't be hard like a cedar tree. Ma'aseh Shabar Rabbi Elazar ben Reb Shimon. Turns out that all the manuscripts say that it's Reb Shimon ben Elazar, not Reb Elazar ben Shimon. Reb Elazar ben Shimon would be the son of Reb Shimon ben Yochai. And Reb Shimon ben Elazar is a student of Reb Meir. So it's the same generation, but it's a different person. That Shaba Migdal Gadar, he's coming from Migdal Gadar, Mi Beis Rabbi, from his teacher. וירויכב על חמר, ומטייל על שפת הנהר, ושמח שמחה גדולה, ויסדי תגסה עליו מפני שלא מתירה הרבה. He's riding on his donkey. He's strolling on the edge of the river. He's very happy. His mind is arrogant because he had studied so much Torah. Meets a person that's very ugly. Amalai says to him, Shalom Aleichem Rebbe. Person says, he greets him, says, peace unto you, Rabbi. He doesn't answer him. Amalai Reika. Then he says, Reika, I guess, is empty. Kama Makur Seish. How ugly you are. Shema Kol B'nei Yercha Mekurim K'maischa. Is everyone in your town also so ugly? Amalai Eini Yedea. He says, I don't know about that. Ela Lech V'amar Lumen Shasani Kama Makur Kliza Shasisa. Why don't you go tell the master that made me how ugly is this vessel that you made?
This is a famous.
Yeah. He tells him, go tell Hashem that you're not happy with what he made. Even he realized that he did a sin. Yared min hachamar, he goes off the donkey and he bows down in front of him. Amalei, nanesi lach machali, I submit myself to you, forgive me. Amalei eni meichalach ad shetelach lemen shasani. Amalei kam makor kliza shasisa. I'm not forgiving you until you go to the master that made me and tell him how ugly is the vessel that he made. He's following him until he comes to the city. He's following this ugly person. Yeah, I shouldn't say that, but he's following the person that he just insulted. So, now the people of the city come out because Reb Shimon ben Elazar is coming. Rabbi, peace unto you, teacher, Mairi. Our teacher, he tells him, who are you calling rabbi? The person that's following you. If this is the rabbi, there should not be like him more in Israel. They said, why? Why are you so upset? Do you know what he did to me? He's told me that I'm ugly. You should forgive him, because he gives a good share. Forgive him. He's a scholar. Okay, because of you, I'll forgive him. But he shouldn't do this too often. Okay.
I have a question.
One second. Miyad nichnas Reb Elazar bar Shimon or Reb Shimon ben Elazar b'darash. He goes in and he teaches Leila miyadam rachke kanaval yikasha karas. Person should be soft like a cedar and not hard like a soft like a reed and not hard like a cedar tree. That's why it merited that you can use it to write a Sefer Torah. Tefillin and mezuzahs you used to read. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
yeah.
There's a few days ago we had that story with the woman, Caesar's daughter.
Yeah.
So first,
so you want to go back to Taanis.
Different story about somebody versus someone.
Interesting. That is a very good point. Dr. Stein is asking that on Daf Zayin we had the daughter of the Caesar tells Rabbi Shua ben Hanania that such wisdom in such an ugly vessel, and tells her back, your father, where does he keep his wine? Tell him to put it in gold and silver. And then it's spoiled. Said, she says, but there are people that are beautiful and they also have wisdom. Said, yeah, if they would be ugly, they would be even have more. So we already have an answer. Oh, so it turns out over here, Taisvis over here says that in Masechtas Derech Eretz it says that this person was Eliyahu Hanavi. He wanted to train him.
So the question is really good.
That's a very good question.
And the question what you're asking is really good. Yeah. Two trophies.
But he calls him also Reika, right? It says
Yeah.
empty person.
Yeah. There's a sikha of the Rebbe. I don't remember the details, but it must have to do with. I think I remember that. It must have to do with the person was actually empty spiritually, and Reb Shimon ben Elazar was actually correct. He wasn't ugly physically; he was ugly spiritually. Yeah, and he was.
Something about that day he had lost something from a different story that day back to the person that lost all his mitzvahs. Then when he forgave him, he gave them back.
Oh, that could be something else. So and the person is still correct, even though he was a sinner. He's still correct that Leich Shuman Shasani, because I was created this way. He was. It doesn't say it was a sinner. He was empty. He had bad character. That he didn't. Said Leich Shuman Shasani. That's how I was born, and that's how I was made, and he was telling him that you have to accept people, and nevertheless, even though they may not be so refined or whatever. Okay.
It seems to be also like, if you're ugly, then that means you can get the Torah, right? That's the advantage of Rabbi Yeshua.
Right.
So not only is he ugly, he's not even taking advantage of that ugliness to have Torah inside of him.
Oh, so that's the Reka.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It'd be really.
Uh-huh. You follow? He's telling him that you're so ugly, you could be a real Torah scholar. You're ugly enough to be a Torah scholar. So, but Reka, but you didn't even start. You're empty.
Mother-in-law dresses you from. Ruya. That's just kidding.
Unless you're Yosef Atzadik.
Right. A city that has a plague or things are falling, houses are falling, walls. Taner Rabbanan, starting in a Brisa Mapila Shamru, it said that there's collapsing. Brias V'lei Ruyas. It's talking about that there were actually strong structures, not that they were weak structures, and that's why it's a time to have a fast.
Like the earthquake.
Yeah, it could be. They weren't worthy of falling. Not ones that were going to fall down anyway. The Gemara says, well, that seems repetitive. You started off saying that they're strong, and then you said it again, that they're not worthy of falling. Hainu, it's supposed to be like Hainu Brias, Hainu Sheinu Sleepo. It's the same thing. Read it as Hainu, if it's better. These are the same thing. Hainu Ruyas, Hainu Ruyas Sleepo. It's the same thing. The ones that are weak, the ones that are worthy of falling. So it's like Tzricha the Naflu Machas Kavayo. We're talking about that they were so tall, that's why they fell. Not because they were weak, but because they were tall. Inami the Kaima Aguda Dinara, or because they were by the river and the foundation got weak. Yeah. So we're saying that even though they're strong, but it doesn't mean that just because it's strong, it doesn't mean that it can stand. It didn't have a good footing, didn't have a good foundation. So it needs to be both. When do we have a fast? When it's both, when the foundation is good and it's strong.
Similar to the analogies that we get with the roots being constantly.
Right.
We just had the roots in the prior page.
Right. The reeds.
The reeds.
Very good. There was a weak wall, a shaky wall in Nardai. Nardai is where Shmuel lived. The Layavi Chalaf Rav Shmuel Tusa. Rav and Shmuel, I didn't know Rav was in Nardai, but apparently he was visiting. He was Rav and Shmuel would not walk by this wall. Avagav the Kaima Ba'asra Tleisa Shnin, even though it was there for 13 years, nevertheless, it seemed like a weak wall. Yom Echad, V'lei Nafla means, and it didn't fall, right? The Bach had said it. One day, Ikla Ravada Barava Lahasam, Ravada Barava came. Amalei Shmuel Rav, Shmuel tells to Rav, Nesimar Nakif, let's go walk around the way we usually do. Today we don't need to. Dikar Ravada Barava Bahadain. We have Ravada Barava with us. He has enough merits. I'm not worried. We can walk by the shaky wall. Taisus over here says there's two Ravada Baravas, because if you remember, Ravada Barava is a student of Rava. That's several generations later. Because Rav's student is Rav Yehuda. On the day that Rav Yehuda passes away, Rav is born. So Rava's student is Ravada Barava. So now we have Ravada Barava together with Rav. Doesn't make sense. So Rav passed away before Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda, after Rav passed away, goes to study by Shmuel. So
He's counting on a miracle.
yeah, he's counting on a miracle because of Ravada Barava. But it was an earlier. No. No, Rav Acha Brei the Rava. Rav Acha Brei the Rava is a student of Rava. He's a son of Rava, and he's probably a student of Rav Kana also. If there's a Rav Kana there, he's the one that said, "Kiven the nafik mi pumi the Rav Kana." By the Rav Acha Brei the Rava. Ravada Bar under Rava there should be a Ravada Barava next to Rav Papa. Okay.
No, that's why you do
Oh, okay. Anyway, whatever the case is, usually it's a student of Rava. Now we're finding that he's the friend of Rav, so there's two of them. Okay, Junior. So, Rav Huna Havalehu Chamra Bahu Beisariya Ubaylapnui. Rav Huna had wine in a certain house, but the problem is the house was shaky, it was going to collapse. He needed to get the wine out. He brings Ravada Barava in. He distracts him with learning. He talks to him and learning Adapanya until all the wine is removed. And then after they take Ravada Barava out, the house falls, the house collapses. Irgish Ravada Barava ikbid. Ravada Barava recognized what happened and he was upset. Savalaki Hadam Rav Yanai, because he also what Rav Yanai says, Leila Malyamad Adam Makam Sakan of Yemra Isanli Nes. Person should never put himself into danger and say that a miracle is going to happen for me. Shemay Isanli Nes. Maybe the miracle won't happen. And even if a miracle does happen, they take it out from the merits. There's a price. That's why what?
Never go to escape the room.
Escape, you know. Yeah.
Wasn't it the Katati Chassadim?
That's where the Gemara is going to bring that. Very good. Got a good coffee. Got a good coffee this morning. Yeah. I'm sorry.
When a person loses the merits, it's like you're losing reward in Olam Haba.
Yeah. Yeah, they spend it.
Seems like a bad deal.
Right. Yeah, if you want to know what's dangerous, you have to ask the insurance companies. They have it all worked out, what the statistics are. Don't go this what's it called? Jumping off the planes.
Jumping planes.
Was it parachuting? Parachute. Skydiving. Okay. Amar Rav Chanan Mikra. Chanan says, what does it mean in the pasuk? I've been made smaller because of all the kindness, because of the truth. Mikra, what's the pasuk that says this? Yaakov said it. Said that because of all the niceness, all the kindness that he received from Hashem, his merits have been diminished. How did Ravada Barava get so great? What did he do? Kiyad Itmar, following. Shalu Talmida v'Srabzeira v'Amila Ravada Barava. They asked him, you're going to be surprised over here. It's not what you're thinking. Why do you, what was the merit that you lived long? Amar Lehem, he responded, I never got angry in my house. Yeah, there's some more details here, but that's the big one. Yeah.
Miami. What was
Miami. All the days, yeah, all the days he never got angry in his house. But he say by the Chafetz Chaim, they said that one of his kids, one time sat on his chair, so he didn't take him off. So they said, "Why don't you take him off? You shouldn't be sitting in your chair. It's not good chinuch." He says, "Yeah, I have chinuch for my children, and I also have chinuch for myself. I'm trying to train myself not to that things shouldn't bother me. So that comes first. And I shouldn't be, to train his own character." I never took steps in front of someone that's more important, that's greater than me. Probably means to like walk in first or something. I never had thoughts. The commentaries translate this. I never had thoughts of Torah in dirty places. Those days, there were areas that were, didn't have the sewer system. There were areas that smelled. I never walked 4 amas without Torah and tefillin. I never slept in the Beis Medrash, not a full sleep and not a temporary sleep, not a nap. I was never happy if my friend stumbled. And I never gave my friend a nickname. And I never called him a name that others made for him. Yeah. Someone just told me Rabbi Yoel Khan would go to Antwerp. Over there, they told him, some chassidim over there Polish chassidim told him that we met Reb Nissen, we gave him a kvittel. Reb Nissen Nemenov gave him like a note. Anyway, he says, "Oh, so let me tell you about Reb Nissen." He said he was in 770, and he was the heater broke. So people were wearing coats inside. It happens in those places, the heat breaks, you put on your coat even if you're inside. They're wearing the coats. Anyway, Reb Nissen starts davening. He says he was wearing his coat. Reb Nissen was without a coat. He took off his coat to daven. He said, he looks at him and he sees sweat dripping down he has such concentration, the exertion from concentration that he was sweating. So the person says, "Nah, ich glaub nicht. I don't believe it." So Biel says, "You're ready to give him a kvittel, but you don't believe, but the sweat you can't believe." So you don't know. Talking about kavana, that I'm just mentioning this.
Any one of these incredible actions.
Been enough. Yeah.
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 By one of them.
Right. The big deal is Miyamai, that he always did this. He was consistent. Normally, Rava L'Rafim Bar Papa. Rava says to Rafim Bar Papa, this is a proof that Rav Papa, that's a student of Rava, is not the father of all of these other people, because Rafim Bar Papa has to be older. Tell me something about Rav Huna. Rav Huna is a student of Rav, is going back. I don't remember him when he was young, but Sivusi Dachena, I remember when he was older. Every cloudy day, I guess it means after the rain, they would take him out in a wagon, a chariot of gold. He would look around the whole town. Any weak wall, after the rain, it could be the wall gets weak, he would break it down. If the owner of that wall had the means to pay for it, then they would rebuild it. Then if he didn't have the money, as a poor person, then Rav Huna would rebuild the wall. Every Friday, he would send a messenger to the market. and any vegetables that are left over by the gardeners, the Zavanla, he would buy it, and he would throw it into the river. The Gemara says, we don't like that. Why doesn't he give it to the poor? It says, that's going to create the welfare problem. The people they're going to rely on it. They're not going to work. They're not going to go and buy. They'll think it's coming. And then it could be, it won't come one day and then they won't have. It's a problem. Depends how you run the run the economy. So give it to the animals. That would be fine. He holds, can't give it to the animals. I saw in a comment that
Why would he?
where did I see this? That I saw it in the Rashi that he would throw it into the river. It would go down the river, and it wasn't in the Rashi. It would go down the river, and other people would find it and need it, just not over here. Where did I see that? So why does he have to buy it? It says Nimsis Machshin Lasalavai. That would be a problem because then they won't bring it. Okay, they won't bring it to sell if he doesn't. Maybe they won't bring as much or whatever. So he wants them to bring a lot, but he wants to make sure. He wants them to bring a lot of produce, and he doesn't want anyone to be dependent on it though. If he had a type of medicine, having kuzia, you have to adjust this. Mine, he would fill up a little jug of it, but for the base, he would put it on his the doorway of his house. Called the boy anyone that needs medicine, come and take. He knew about Milsa the Shivsa, the custom of the demons, that anyone that didn't wash their hands in the morning, they could come and attack. So he would fill up water for people to come wash their hands. They shouldn't become endangered. When he was going to eat, he would open his, sounds like his house. What does that mean? His door, his house? Anyone that wants to, that needs to come and eat. Amarava kula matzina mikayamna. Yeah, he says, I can do all of those. Except for this last thing. That I can't do. Because there's Nefisha b'nei chela. Rashi didn't have that girsa. B'nei chela sounds like soldiers that would come in. Rashi's girsa was that too many poor people. There would be nothing left if it would open up to. Okay, let's leave it over here. Good day, everyone.